Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. So today we'll discuss about what are the basic operations that we can do with the help of Selenium WebDriver. Okay. So can anyone tell me what are the different types of elements that we see in web pages normally? Anyone? Like how we will interact with the web pages? We'll do click. We'll pass some inputs. We'll scroll the page, right? These are the common operations that we do on a web page. And what are the different types of elements that we can see on a web page?
Text and like dialog boxes,
Yeah. Anything else?
images,
Yeah, images, alert boxes, dialog boxes, and text boxes to enter some text, right? Yeah. So let me share my screen. So you're able to see my screen, right?
yes,
Yeah. So on a web page, we will be seeing different kinds of inputs or different kind of elements on a web page, right? So one is input. Input means we will be entering some text into that box. For example, uh, let me share this. So here, this is an input field, right? So here we will enter some text. So this is one type of web element. So this is to enter some text into the and submit is, for example, in login screens or register screens, after we enter username and password or the required details in each of the input fields, we have to click on that button, right? So that operation we call it as submit. To submit the form. And radio boxes, right? Radio boxes, ra- radio buttons, sorry. So these are the radio buttons. For example, if you select any, we can choose only one out of all the options that it is a group of radio buttons where you can select only one button. If you select any other, the previous one will be unchecked and the selected one will be checked like this. So these called radio buttons. Okay. And similarly, check boxes. So it is also similar to radio buttons. The only thing difference between radio buttons and checkboxes are we can check every whatever the value that we wanted to in checkbox. Whereas if you are taking example of radio button, you can check only one in a group. Okay, and then checkboxes, radio buttons, and the alerts. Alerts means when you click on some for example, if you click on some element, you will see a pop-up here. So that is called alert. So for example, let me show. This is an alert. So there are two types of alerts. One is you have only one option. You just click on OK, but there is one more type of alert where it provides you two options. You can cancel or OK. Okay. And what else we have? Open tab means when you click on some link, it opens in a new tab. So these are all the different types of operations that we will be performing on a web page. Okay.
Okay.
So in our previous sessions, we have discussed about, so to perform any action on these kind of elements, we will be mostly doing click, send keys, clear, right? In order to perform any action that we discussed here, we will be doing, these are the three different methods most commonly used across your test automation. These are the very frequently used operations in Selenium WebDriver. Okay. So now we will write an example test case. So input we have already covered, right? Because input, for input field we will be passing some values with the help of send keys method. So that example we already covered. So here id is an email is a input field where we are passing some text to that field. Okay. So and then input, so let's take an example of radio button. And one more thing we have missed here is drop downs. Select. I'm just copying the existing method to save time. So here what we will be testing is test checkboxes.
Mahesh,
Yeah, Satya.
so why can't we create a Cucumber BDD framework from the scratch? Then,
Yeah, yeah, that we can create, but in order to show these different kinds of examples, first of all they have to know about the basics, right? So
okay,
once they
okay,
know the basics, then we can switch to the framework. It is
okay,
easier to practice each and every operations in TestNG rather than Cucumber. If they are doing in Cucumber, they have to write feature file for whatever we are doing. It is just a to know the basics. First of all they have to understand what exactly we are doing, then we can switch over to the framework.
okay. Oh, you're teaching all the basics, no?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
because
makes
they don't know, right, these basics.
yeah, okay. So, guys, record all these methods, whatever Mahesh is telling, like how to click radio button, how to click a text box, okay, how to enter some inputs, send keys, all this. Okay, once the project is going to start, the people should know where to use, what to use in the with respect to the requirements. Okay, suppose you are filling any customer account. So, a customer account can have a multiple fields. Okay, radio button, checkbox, drop down. So, you have to fill that form by using automation. Okay, so make sure that everything should be ready before going to start our framework. Okay.
Okay, Satya. That is my. So here we are testing checkboxes, right? First of all, we'll go to this. We will identify what exactly it is having. Okay. So choose that particular element. Right click on it. See here you can see. So how do you make sure this is a checkbox if you don't know what it is, whether it is a radio button or checkbox? You can check the type of this particular element. You can see checkbox here, right? You can, if you see each and every input here, it is a checkbox. Type of that particular element is checkbox. Checkbox. So now I wanted to select a out of these checkboxes, I want to select a checkbox which contains a text called bench. Okay, so how can I do? First of all, I have to identify that particular element. Okay, so it is having ID as bench check, but we don't. In order to make sure it is a checkbox, we have to write an XPath input at the rate ID equal to. So in XPath we can use AND operations. So what AND operations does is it verifies the arguments between that AND operation. For example, here and at the rate type equal to checkbox. Depends. So if you see there are total 5 checkboxes. 1, 2, 3, but there are 2 other checkboxes you're not seeing here. That might be under some other page in this particular application only. So here type equal to checkbox and you can choose value as well. See, now it is this XPath is matching with this particular input checkbox. If you just change the name of this value bench, it will identify the bench checkbox. So now what we will do is we will take this XPath and try to select this particular checkbox. So we have framed what XPath for checkboxes, right? We'll directly use that XPath. I'm just removing everything. This is an XPath. So this is the XPath that we framed for bench checkbox. So what we are doing, we are clicking on it. And here we have to change the URL of that particular application. It is a login, but we are on this page, right? We have to change the URL to directly come into this particular page. Stop me if you are not understanding anywhere, so that I can explain immediately. Okay, so what here we are doing in the before test, we are just launching that particular application and we are clicking on bench checkbox on that page. So in order to show you whether it is checked or not, I'll just use thread sleep method so that you will see the execution will halt for some time over there. So what this method do is it will not do anything for 5 seconds. It stops the execution of that particular test case. So it launches this that practice application. Now it has to select the checkbox. See, it is selected the checkbox. Similarly, if you wanted to check any other checkbox over there, you just have to pass the value of that particular checkbox. Okay, so this is about checkbox, and you can check n number of checkboxes because checkboxes usually allows to check any number of checkboxes. Whereas if you take example for of radio button, it will allow you to check only one checkbox. I'll show you that example as well. So you can see the input type for this is radio. So you can make use of the same XPath where you just have to change the type as radio. Here earlier we have used checkbox, right? Here you can use radio. Update that as radio and value. For example, I want to select Honda here. I can just update the Honda. Maybe it is in small letters. See, it is pointing to Honda. So I'll just copy this XPath. Hello, any questions? Okay. So I'm updating the XPath of that particular radio button. So here you can observe, let me keep one more statement here. Instead of Honda, I'll choose BMW and I'll again keep some weight. So here what happens is once you click radio button of Honda and you try to click on BMW, the previous one will be unchecked and the BMW would be checked because it is a radio button functionality. At a time you can choose only one radio button in a group of radio buttons. So it launches the page. Now it first of all it chooses Honda. It waits for 5 seconds. Then it goes to choose BMW. See? So even before we have selected this, but the functionality of radio button itself is you can choose only one out of all the radio buttons. If you observe, all these radio buttons are grouped under one particular ID. See, radio button example. So in your case, if you come across any of the radio buttons, you will see a common section for all of these radio buttons where you can choose only one out of all the radio buttons. The radio buttons functionality itself, we can choose only one option out of all the options. Okay. Now the we will go to discuss about drop downs. So drop downs also you most commonly used web elements to choose some particular text out of some particular element in a list of elements. So this is called drop down. If you observe the web element for this particular drop down, there would be a select class. So select is an HTML class. If you in any web page, if you see select, that means it is a drop down. Here it is a drop down, right? So each drop down will have options. So for example, it could be have n number of options like 10 to 100, anything, n number of options developers can provide. For example purpose, we have three different types of uh, values in that particular drop down. So this is an important question in interview rounds where how do you choose drop down? So your answer should be like we will be using select class where select class provides three different methods. One is uh, so select is a class for drop downs. So in order to choose one value in that particular drop down, you select class provides you three different types of methods. That is select by value, select by visible text, select by text, and select by index. So index means, for example, I have 10 values in that particular drop down. The index starts from 0 to 9. So we have to give that particular index, whatever the value that we have to choose, we have to pass that particular values corresponding index. And value means, for example, in this particular option there is a attribute called value. So if you pass the value of BMW to that method, it chooses that particular element. And whereas visible text means the text inside that particular option, BMW or Benz or Honda. So there are three ways to choose one particular value inside a drop down. So now we'll take that in a practical just copying this method. So first of all, we will identify what is identify that select element. Okay, so we can use select class here. Select. So this is the syntax to choose a drop down, where you have to identify the identify with the help of driver dot find element method. Right. So this particular select class has ID, right? So we can directly use the ID. And what is the ID of this particular drop down? Select. It has ID, that is car select. So now we have the drop down element. Now we wanted to click on some particular option in that particular drop down. So as we discussed, it provides three different methods to choose a value inside the drop down. Drop down dot. So this class itself provide you multiple options here. Okay. So this get options method will return a list of options, like how many options it has. But now what we wanted to here doing, there are three more major methods that we discussed, right? Select by index, select by value, select by visible text. So the most common practice to use is select by value. But we will discuss these three methods mainly, okay? So select by value. So here in this method, select by value, what you have to pass is the value of the option that you wanted to choose. Here, let me choose Honda. This is select by value. And the other option that we can do is select by index. So index starts from 0. So for example, here I have three options, right? So this is the 0th index, first and second. So for example, I wanted to choose Honda here. I can select the index as 2. So, and one more thing you can observe here is, if you are passing index, that is an integer variable. So if you are passing integers, you don't have to enclose under with double quotes. If you are passing as a string, then you have to enclose this particular value in a double quotes. You can see double quotes here, right? And the other option that we have here is select by visible text. Visible text means the text that we are seeing here. So the difference between visible text and value is, so always values would be everything would be in smaller case, but this can be anything. It could be uppercase or camel case or lower case. This could be anything. But so whatever the option that we wanted to choose, make sure you are using the required value when you are scripting. So for example, I want to choose this bench here. Drop down dot select by visible text. Since it is a string, we have to enclose it under double quotes. So for each of these selection, let me give a 1 second wait so that you will see practically. So first it will select Honda, and then it is second index is Honda again. Okay, let me choose one. One is bench, right? Yeah, one is bench. First Honda, bench, and then I'll choose BMW here then. Maybe with the debug it would be easy for you to understand. So debugger means if you are facing some issues with your locator, you can verify that during runtime. Okay, so I just instead of you are instead of running directly, I clicked on this one, debug test framework test. So what it does is it will execute line by line, and you can wait and how much time you wanted to on that particular statement in a debugger. So here there are multiple options. Rerun, no. So step into. So step into and step out are, for example, here you are using a different method. You wanted to go into that method, you can go into that particular method, and step out is come out of that particular method. Whereas this is the most common used debugger statement. You can go line by line, each line. So accept. So these are the internal statements that we don't want. Let I'll directly go to the next breakpoint. So here it should now it is waited at this particular step. So if you observe the drop down, by default the value of this is BMW. Now it has to select Honda. If you click on this particular element, see now it got changed to Honda. Now here we are selecting with the help of index, right? Let's see what happens. The index of Honda, sorry, no, it didn't executed it. Now the whatever the value that is there in the first index, that value would be selected, that is bench. And now we wanted to select BMW. Right now it is bench. Now I wanted to select BMW. See, it selected BMW. Any questions here?
No.
Okay. So we have covered the input, submit, radio buttons, checkboxes, and drop down. So let's discuss about alerts. So as we discussed earlier, alert means when you click on some particular element in your in your web page, it pops up a alert. This is called alert. Okay. So here you wanted to click on OK, or there could be some cases where you wanted to click accept and dismiss. So we will discuss about how to handle these particular alert boxes. I'm just stopping the previous execution. So in alert boxes, Selenium provides a alert class similar to select class. Okay, let me remove this code. Alert. See, if you wanted to see which particular library it provides you this particular class, when you type here alert, you can see org.openqa.selenium. That means Selenium provides this particular class where you can perform any action that you wanted to do on that particular element. So here we have to import this particular package. When you click on this import, what happens is here in the at the bar you can see alert is imported. This package is imported so that whatever the operations or methods that are there in this particular alert class, we can directly use instead of rewriting everything. So this is the reusability concept, because whatever the options that alert class provides to you, you can directly make use by just importing that particular class. So these are all the Java concepts. New alert. We'll see whether it has any ideas what it has. So this particular element has alert button as ID, right? So this is if you observe for the drop downs only, you can see the select class. But here alert is a alert is a button here. It is not an alert. It is a button. This is a button. So it has an ID alert button. So what we are doing here is we are identifying element which by clicking on which element it opens the alert button. Okay, sorry. Let me declare this as a web element alert button. So I have to click on this particular element. So when you click on this button, you will see a alert pop-up. So now what you have to do is you have to switch to that particular alert. Driver dot switch to switch to dot alert. So here, if you observe, there are multiple options it provides. The most common things is first of all we can the common cases we wanted to verify what text is there in that particular alert box. Okay, so we'll just try to print what it is having.
Manish garu,
Chapati.
మళ్ళీ జాయిన్ అవ్వండి.
Okay,
1
sure.
minute is there. Please rejoin.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Everyone, please rejoin. So here, what we are doing, the first thing is for example, in your particular test case, you wanted to identify what text is present in that particular alert box. So you can verify with the help of assert statement, or you can directly get that particular statement and print it on console for now. System dot out. So here what it does is when you click on this alert statement, alert button, it opens a pop-up, right? Now what this will return that particular statement is this will return the text present in there in that alert box. So this text we wanted to verify, we can verify. And if you wanted to click OK button, you have to choose accept. So let me run this. So this particular test is failed due to no such element. Okay. See what it is saying, no such element, unable to locate element, method XPath, and selector is alert button. So this alert button is a ID, but we are using XPath, right? So that's why it is unable to locate that particular element. So here what we have to do is we have to change it to ID because we are using ID, right? So you can, if you want to see what this returns, you can go to the console. Console means whatever that you want, you are printing system.out.println is a method which prints some whatever the value it returns. Or if you wanted to print something new manually, you can directly add that particular string here. So here you can see the text is printed here, right? Hello, share this practice page and share your knowledge. So this is a text which is present on alert box. And accept, if you wanted to see that, maybe we have to, I'll just uncomment this, comment this so that the browser will not shut down or closes. See, it opens a pop-up and immediately it clicks on OK, so that the alert box closes. So similarly, we sorry. So we have two different types of alert. This is just a alert box with OK button, and there are two other options in this particular alert box. See, are you sure you want to confirm? You can click either on this button or you can click on this button. So in order to click on this OK button, you have to click accept. You have to use accept method, where if you wanted to use cancel this one, you can use dismiss. So now for this time we will use the ID of this particular method. So this is confirm button, right? Sorry. I'm taking the ID of this particular element, confirm button. Here we are using ID. So when we click on that particular button, Now this time we will get some different types of text, and in order to click OK on that particular alert, you can choose this method. If you wanted to dismiss that, you can use dismiss. So only difference between the previous alert box and this alert box is it has only accept, whereas this particular alert has two. You can accept or you can dismiss that alert. And one more thing, when you are launching this particular browser, you can see it is only opening with a minimum width, right? If you wanted to maximize according to your test screen, you can write a maximize code so that it will expand how much your screen width is. It will expand to that particular. Like you can just you are clicking on maximize button here, right? In programmatically, you can do the same thing. I'll show you that as well, but that we can do it before test method. Driver dot 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 maximize. So maximize will maximizes the opened window. So now you observe it is just open with less width. Now it expanded, right? So that maximize is done programmatically. And now you can see the text here. Hello, are you sure you want to confirm? This alert box text is different than the previous one. And it clicks on cancel here instead of okay, but you cannot see anything specific whether you click on cancel or confirm, but some applications will behave differently. If you click OK, it go to some other page, and if you cancel, it just stays on the same page like that. So, but that functionality is not implemented in this particular website. But in real time, if you are seeing any alerts like that, if you click on OK button, the behavior would be different, and if you click on cancel, the behavior of this particular web page would be different. Okay. So, any questions so far? And in your framework setup, are you facing any issues to practice? Whatever we discussed so far, we have to practice. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to understand the later concepts. So in the later sessions, what we will do is we will create a framework, and whatever the code that we are writing here would be we will be writing all entire this code is in a page object model pattern, so that at that time it will be very difficult for you to understand what exactly we are doing. So that's why it's better to practice the basics first, then switch to framework. So any questions in setup part so far? Is everyone set up this particular code setups in your local machine, and you are you able to run these particular things? If you are facing any issues, let me know. We will fix. Are you anyone facing any issues with the setup? So I'll commit this particular code into GitHub. I'll show you. Maybe I can show in this session itself, so that you will know, you'll understand how we can commit the code, how we can pull the code. So any questions?
If the interviewer will ask, he will ask to write whole things in this IntelliJ, or he
No,
will ask the
just
questions.
he will just ask the question. Sometimes he will ask you to write a syntax. For example, he will ask you to you have a drop down. He will not give you any website for you to reference. You just assume that there is a drop down. There is a drop down. It has some ID. Then you have to write that particular syntaxes like what we have written here. So he will just ask you to, I have a drop down and I wanted to select particular text in that particular drop down, can you write a syntax for that? So what you have to do is you just have to write these statements. You don't have to write all the code. Maybe you can write the launching of that particular application like driver.get. This
So
one
I
line.
need to remember this all.
Yeah,
All this
you have
script.
to remember. Yeah. So you have to remember, like first statement is you have to create a driver object with this statement. So you are creating a driver object with this statement, and then you are launching the application with this method. Okay, after writing these two statements, you can directly write this particular syntax, but you have to remember what is select class and how you can identify that particular dropdown. You have to remember this.
Okay. And if I want to use Edge or Firefox for that Chrome driver, then
Ah,
can I use?
then you can just instead of using Chrome driver, what you have to do is you can directly use Firefox driver here, right? And here also mention that Firefox driver. That's it. No difference.
Okay.
Any other questions you have? But in terms of performance wise, the Chrome is the most preferred browser. Some people will use Edge and Firefox driver as per their needs, but the most in terms of speed of execution, the Chrome driver is the most preferred web driver or browser.
Okay.
Even to find XPaths and all, it's feasible for us, Chrome driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So any other questions? Otherwise, I'll
Actually,
show. Yeah. Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm facing difficult writing these codes. So actually, I don't have experience in writing these codes. So how to overcome this? Is there any separate programming language do I need to learn, or like
Yeah.
do I need to go for any other resources?
Yeah, for Selenium scripting, basically you need to understand the Java concepts. So I will give you some links where you can get the Java knowledge, programming knowledge for Java. So basically in Java, in core Java, what concepts we will be using is um, so these class and methods are common. Class, method, so the class is a fundamental of core Java where whatever you are writing, you will be writing under a class. So this is a class, right? So is any file that you are writing in Java that will be under class. So class is the uh, basic thing in if you wanted to write anything in Java programming language. So what concepts you have to learn in core Java is uh, maybe OOPS concepts. Under OOPS, polymorphism is the most frequently asked interview purpose. Also, framework design purpose. Also, polymorphism is important concept in core Java. And then you need to understand string classes and collections. Inside collection, we have multiple things, but the most frequent is list, array list, and hash map. So I'm just telling you to learn in terms of automation testing what are the common things that we need to understand. So under collections, these are the three main things, and OOPS concepts and string related function. I'll give you some links in YouTube so that you can just go through and practice by yourself.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, and exceptions also very important. So regarding to commit this, for example, I have the latest code till earlier, but today I have added some new code, right? So I wanted to commit this particular code. So that you can add some new files into the code and you can commit those files. So you are selecting this H&SS project. Go to Git. When you right click, you'll see these particular options. You can see commit here, right? This is the one that we have committed, right? No? Yeah, it is committed only. Okay. Yeah, you can directly see the commit option here. So when you click on this, you will see commit option here. So when you click on commit, it opens a new what we call container here. So whatever the files that you wanted to commit, you have to check. So here we have a git ignore file, right? So what it does is, if you check this file, there would be a .ide folder created by default by IntelliJ. So you don't have to commit this every time. For example, I'll just commit, but you don't have to commit this particular thing. I'm just checking this app.java. What is this? I'll just uncheck all these. So these are the only Java files that we wanted to commit, and this is the file that we added some scripts today. We can write some message here. Twenty-two. You can click on commit or commit and push. So what is the difference is, if you just commit, you have to pull the latest changes that are written by some other resources in your team. Or if you know that you don't have any other resources, you push their code into repository, then you can directly click on commit and push. So if you click on commit and push, whatever the files that I selected now will be directly pushed into the server. So maybe it is not pointed to the correct server. Okay. Okay, I think I have missed that particular URL. I'll cover this session tomorrow. And okay, I'll configure my GitHub properly, then I can commit the code. So any other questions? If not, we can stop the session. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, tell me.
guys, yesterday we have given some assignment on writing test scenarios and test cases, right? How
Yeah,
many
yeah.
of you completed?
I have written
How many of
only
you
42 test cases.
Who is that?
Yeah, Vikas. It's Vikas.
Vikas, can you share your screen? How you have written? Shall we review now?
Yeah, please.
I'm stopping, man.
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. Sorry, I'm talking on mute. Okay. Okay. Can you scroll up to the first row? Test case ID. There is no test case ID. There is no description.
Okay.
So can you write down test case ID now itself? From which functionality you have invoked this test case? I've told you, right, how to generate a test ID. From the requirement, we need to give a map. Which requirement is it? R1 point T. Which one you have written? Or F? That's okay. Take your time. No. Manager, new customer, right? Functionality, what it mentioned. Okay, it is technical, right? Manager, new account, technical.
No, technical.
T, which one?
It's new account.
But you know, right, how to generate a test ID?
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, so first thing is to generate a, see, this test case you are showing to me, but how will I know that which this test case belongs to which?
Okay. Don't need to.
So first thing is from which requirement document you invoke this test case? Someone is talking on mute or something. Okay. Okay. So from which functionality? From the requirement of banking, right? Go back to that document page. Okay. So in this, what is the requirement document heading here? Let's say it's R1.1, right? So in that R1.1, to which section you went to write down this test case? And that section subheading, what it is? Manager, new customer, what side heading and what the point it is updated as.
Okay.
Okay. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. It is under which one? 2 point?
It's 2 point. 2 point technical, right? 3.2.
Like that. So under 3.2, for which technical you are writing?
New account. T1.
New account. So 3.2 only, because T1 you are writing. So customer for customer ID, you have 3 type of technicalities right here.
Okay.
T1, T2, T3. So you just need to write 3.2. 3.2 new customer and new account, right? NA underscore. Can you write down?
Yeah.
R 3.2 or F 3.2. Underscore NC new account NA you can write in a short note. Underscore 001. And before 001, what is the test? Okay, NA new account, right? So fine. So under new account, you're writing underscore 001. This is how you need to generate a test case ID. And sometimes you will get a predefined inputs from the team that in this is the specific format we need to use. In that way, you need to use that specific format. Overall, the next test case of yours would be for under new account, it will be 002. If you change your topic from new account to edit account, EA, you need to update it as. Okay.
Okay.
So this is test case ID and test case description, what you're doing here. Validating
Okay.
new account for manager role, right? Or
Yeah.
what your point here to validate this particular test case?
I'm
Add a
checking
new
whether the
saving
manager
account
is
for an
able to
existing
create
customer.
new account.
So in a short note, you will write a new account validating which page? Adding new saving account for an existing customer, right? Just add that. Adding say new saving account to an existing customer. That's it. And the prerequisites, which URL you are using, which username you are using, which password you are using. So those and all you need to update under prerequisites. Okay. And one more thing is, since you are also updating test data requirements, you can update what is user ID there, what is password, the values of username, values of password, value of URL. In under the prerequisites, you just mention URL, username, password, and then whatever, like what system you need and which browser you are using. So all these things you will mention here. Okay. And date tested, you need to update when this particular test case is executed. Okay. And scroll down. Guys, don't take this assignment as simple, because in the end we are going to review this and update your results, right? This will go for review. So everyone has to complete all the test cases. And step details you have written, expected you have written. Any doubts you have here? You are updated actual results as expected, right? So why did you update it as expected? You have executed and seen expected results, then updated as expected, or simply you just
No,
marked as
simply I
expected.
just mark it as
Then you have to remove them. You have to remove them. Before to execute, actual results shouldn't be updated. While we are executing that time, that column should be updated. Remember? And before to pass or fail, first thing is not executed, right? So the status should be not executed. Once you execute it, while you're executing, you can keep it as an in progress. Once executed, if it is passed, you will update the status as pass. If it is fail, you will update the status as fail. In progress while you're executing. Okay. Good. Very good, Vikas. And username, password. You followed the document for this, right?
Yeah.
When you say you are adding account to existing customer, why delete account came? This is test case 2, is it? Test case 1, test case 2, it is. Add a new savings account to an existing customer. That is one test case. And another test case is verify that manager is deleted account details for an existing account in the banking application. Good. So,
This is for adding an account, and this is for editing, and test case 3 is for deleting an account.
okay, can you post this document to me? I will review and then provide you the remarks in that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think I need to do some more test cases, right, rather than this.
Yeah, better complete everything and then submit. We have a repo, right, which I think he created for us, Git repo. There, in separate branch, you can update all these test cases. or maybe tomorrow Satya is going to give us Zira, how to create Zira and then attach your test cases, right? So everyone will have a card assigned and every card should be updated with their test results. That is better. We'll do tomorrow uploading, but before that, complete all your test case creation. Everyone, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubts anyone have from the yesterday's assignment? Everyone stuck somewhere?
Anusha, can you tell me how to write the test case ID again?
So it is like for example, in our schools, how our section will be segregated. For example, if you are in 8th class in some ABC school, so what your ID will be? If you are wanted to tell someone where you're studying, what you will take? What you will say? I am studying, like you are in ABC school with 8th session under 8th class. Under 8th class, again you will be in so on so session, and your position seat number is something like that. You will navigate yourself, right? So likewise, to navigate any test case which we are writing, because here we are around 7 resources, we are 7 people, we are writing different test cases. But how can we make sure that we are in a proper sequence? How can we navigate to? So for example, if I wanted to review Mohini's test cases, how will I get identified with that test cases? I can't say Mohini's test cases, right? Mohini is writing for what? For common requirement which you all are following. So from that common requirement, we need to navigate to our test case. It's like we will open that requirement and where it is written. It has some indexes, right? 3.2, 3.3. If you're following for functional, again it has some identification like F1, F2, F3. So likewise, you need to represent from the requirement and then give a sequence ID like 001, 002, 003, like that. So here, let's say here he is writing 3.2 under new account he is writing. So under 3.2 or 3.2 underscore new account, instead of giving big name, we can mark it as NA in a shortcut form. Okay. NA underscore, if you're writing for T1 separately, T1. If you're writing for T1 to T3, T3 at a time, T1 dot T3 underscore 001, like that. So that I will understand by seeing the test case ID itself. Okay, I need to go to 3.2 under which she written right test case for T1, T2, T3 functionality points. Understood?
Yeah, got it, Anusha. Thank
And
you.
how many test cases written by you? How you will make sure like 001, 002, 003, like that you will give an identification, right? So if I
Yeah.
ask you how many test cases you have written, how can you say? You can't go and count again and again. So if you are giving a serial number for your test case, for every test case in the end, you will get to know like how many test cases you have written, right? So that is how we need to generate an ID. Any doubts? Anyone? But make sure that you have completed assignment. It's like a real-time project, guys. You can't skip like, okay, I will do later, or it's not needed or something. For any application, any project, common thing is as a tester is dealing with the test cases. Don't think that this is a manual, I don't need to do assignment, I don't need to practice or something. This practice will definitely help you in the real-time project.
Anu, I
Yes, yes.
want to show my test cases. Let me know if there is any correction, because I didn't do it separately each and every sections. I just mixed it. So can you please check it?
Show me one. Because do you have any other doubts?
No, I'm good.
Okay, please complete
Can
all others also and then submit tomorrow after Zira session. You all can upload there and then we will verify. We will review them. Yes, yes.
so I just wrote it like this. It is for mini statement in banking, and I wrote it. like that. There was only one section like account number, and for that I wrote like this. And then for customized statement, there was different sections like account number, date, format. So I did like this.
So you have written in a scenario level.
Mm-hmm.
So each
So-
scenario you mentioned as test case 1, test case 2, like that.
Okay. And
Yeah, that's also fine, but have one sheet separately and then link all these like test scenario 1, test scenario 2. How many test cases and all are pass or fail, like that you need to navigate them into one sheet. Okay? This
yeah,
is
so
okay. This is also okay.
I checked in this. There is one option. There was one. So there was one document. Just a second. Yeah, so I entered the data in this document, and I checked whether it is working or not, and accordingly I wrote there it is passed or failed, like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But instead of updating as test scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to update as test case, because
And
test
how?
is the sheet name. Customized statement in banking, that is test scenario. And at that test scenario, you are writing these many test cases: test case 1, test case 2, test case 3, like this.
Mm-hmm.
And for every test case, you need to maintain that prerequisites, test case ID, everything. You need to repeat for all the test cases.
And I need to change the test case ID to a single ID only, not this much. I
So,
mean,
for example, this test scenario mentioned as CS underscore 034 underscore 041, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you are giving a test case ID for this test scenario only you are giving, right? So CS underscore 034 underscore 041 underscore 001 would be your first test case ID.
Meeting and it's 1 minute is done.
Okay, so 001, understood?
Okay, fine.
Then
Understood.
002, the verify account number will be having 002, 003.
Alright.
Like the same test scenario ID you will append with underscore 001, 002 and so on.
Alright.
So all these will be, you guys will be uploading in the Zira. Once you get Zira credentials, then we will review all, and then we will let you know what mistakes you have done and what could be done. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.